All right, welcome to the Lions Den, everybody. I have two special guests on the show, Mr. Derrick Mullen and Kyria Williams. Kyria is the writer of a faith-based movie that premiered yesterday. It's called A Gift of Grace. Am I correct?
The Gift of Grace.
The Gift of Grace. And Derrick is the director.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
First and foremost, congratulations on the premiere, guys. It premiered in St. Louis yesterday, correct? Can you hear me?
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. It premiered here. We had our red carpet premiere here yesterday in St. Louis.
Okay. How was it?
Yeah.
Speechless.
Yeah, you're getting us coming right off of that, the high of all that right now. And so I think this is a perfect time.
I still haven't came down off the high. I'm still high. Yeah, the feedback was phenomenal. You know, of course, sometimes as the creators of a project, you know, you criticize yourself, you know, pretty bad and pretty good, I would say.
Yes.
And so to hear the audience feedback is just like, you know what, just keep going, you know, just keep going. And it was amazing. Like I said, I'm speechless.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, and literally, that's why you holding my phone up earlier, because I'm
phone blowing up. Just
people still texting, people saying, you know, still posting on social media from the event. So it's really good. We started the business out of St. Louis. So it was born in St. Louis. So we this is our third film. So we garnered a lot of really followers and supporters from what we do, and now they're like really looking forward to each project that we do, and it's just to see everybody come out last night and show up. It was really good. It was amazing.
No, that's what's up, man. I can only imagine. I've been to a few premieres, and when you do receive the support, it especially after all the hard work that's been put into the project. Yeah, like you said, it is a high. It is a high. So how did you guys come together? Being that this is your third project, how did you come together?
It's funny. Let's start with that. It's definitely
ordained. It was a divine connection for real.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a divine connection. We started off, we worked in the insurance industry together, and you know, we were both life insurance agents, near and dear to our hearts, you know, but you know, we're going on to a new, you know, area. But we started off as life insurance agents, and we developed a relationship there. And so we used to talk about so much stuff that we were going to do. Like we would just say we thought we was going to be some property managers and, and all of that. But no, Derrick was really humble. We started off doing stage plays, my husband and I, and he was such a humble guy. And he came out to one of my first table reads, and he came to me, he said, I don't know what you're doing, but I want to be a part. And he believed in the vision from the very beginning, when I didn't even have a clue what I was doing, right? So he just believed in the vision. And so the story on how we actually started and partnered and came together is long, but it was definitely ordained. And he literally came and recorded one of our stage plays. And this is a long story, you know, but he recorded one of our stage plays after I had so many failed attempts at hiring people to come out and record the shows. And he came out and did it on his own with his iPhone. He recorded my stage play with an iPhone. And when he went home back to Atlanta and edited and sent it back, I literally was in tears, because it was the most professional, the best quality sound, everything that we had ever even had. And I had hired some really good videographers here in the area. And from there, he discovered that gift, that, you know, he's good with that eye and he can record. And so we started doing films on cameras and stuff. So that's pretty much how we connected.
Yeah. Wow. That's the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was it about her, Derrick, that you saw? Because you said you saw something in her, but from your perspective, what was it that you saw?
Well, you know, really, it boils down to her faith walk, you know, her relationship with God. And I mean, you can run into a lot of people who say they love God, you know, but I don't know which God they love, right?
Right.
So, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, everybody you say God, and God is like, for a lot of people, it could be anything, right?
Correct.
But for her, I really loved the love that she had for Jesus Christ. And you know, sometimes when you search and you draw, you connect to that. And I just really like what she was talking about. And I think the biggest thing was her faith. When she talked about that God inspired her to write a stage play, or God inspired her to write. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was that person, like, I just looked at, because we was in the insurance business together. So I'm looking at her like, you sell insurance just like I do. I don't believe you. And so, but then I think the one day, like she said earlier, the one day she invited me out to a table read, and I was inspired just even what she, how she brought it together, the setup of the event, as generic as it was, but yet professional. Like she had the cardboard stand where everybody pictures out on it
that I did,
that she did herself. She had like the decorations, just you can tell when somebody do things themselves, but at the end of the day, it still was professional. Her heart was in it. Correct. And I just was inspired by that. And I said, I don't know what you're doing, but I want to be a part of that, because I'm about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I can attach my heart to something like that. And then from there, really, I'll be honest with you, my role at the time, I feel like I came up in the company. My role at the time was I was a stagehand.
Right.
I mean, I would do, she had the stage plays, I would go to the stage play, hey, what you need me to do?
Right. He's like, what you need me to do? I'm like, go ask my husband, ask Trey, see if he needs some help or something, so he'll go backstage and he like, Trey, you need me to do anything? He was moving stuff. And honestly, I mean, truth be told, if I can be real, I thought Derrick was like this arrogant dude. I didn't feel like, that he'll get his hands dirty, and do labels. But oh my God, like he has shown us just a completely different side of who we thought he was, but he will work hard. He's going to do some labor. He going to break down some sets. He going to carry stuff. He going to unload cars. Like he's literally everything that, my husband and I needed. And we are so grateful. We tell him all the time, we're so grateful for him because he truly has come and helped us to elevate this company to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Wow. That is ordained. I mean, you hear it all the time about how people start from humble beginnings, but to actually experience it, like it's a blessing. Like you said, it's ordained.
Yeah, absolutely ordained.
So from what I'm hearing, acting or directing or anything in this business wasn't even in your plans. Neither one of your plans.
No, I'm not gonna lie about that one.
Never.
I'm from Fort Lauderdale, so
okay.
So again, at the time I was interested in acting. Like I would go to now we talking about 90s. I'm about to date myself, but I'm talking about 90, 93, 94, 95.
Yeah, because you are older, way older.
Whatever.
No, you look good, man. Don't let her talk to you like that. You look good. You age well.
I think y'all probably graduated in the same class, right? So, but no, I was really interested in acting at the time, and so I remember I did like extra roles. I remember when Bad Boys was first shot in Fort Lauderdale in Miami.
Right.
Striptease with Demi Moore and Bing Rames and Burt Reynolds. I was on that set. So just again, but it's just an extra. But even during those times, I was just taking in things that I saw behind the scenes. And you fast forward that to today, I just took all of that. And just to give you a little bit of background, when I was going to college, to Broward College, I was just a employee working for Blockbuster. Blockbuster was a big thing, for some of you guys, if you don't know, Blockbuster was
I remember Blockbuster.
That was the Netflix for me, but
that was Friday night.
Yeah.
So I worked a lot.
And you had to rewind or you get charged.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you charge that late fee. Right. So I worked a lot at Blockbuster, but during that time, I watched a lot of movies. I just love movies. So again, fast forward and putting that on perspective now, it's just taking all of that I took in and put it all out that we got, what we have going on. 3 films in now,
and I'm literally completely opposite. When I tell you, I've never even imagined writing anything, but my family actually some things that you used to do as a little girl, but you just don't remember. And
correct.
But I remember my brother used to always tell me, he'd say, sis, man, you missed your calling, sis. He used to always tell me I should be an actress, right? So I'm like, whatever. But like when we sitting around, like I remember we ran into one of my neighbors. She was like, do you remember when we were little and you used to have us doing like skits? And you'll have us be this person. So I'm like, I don't remember that. So I guess it was always in me. Your gift is always in you. And so that me, as I got older, how I came into this industry, I actually didn't know that I even had a gift. I saw everybody else, and I always thought that, everybody know how to do stuff but me. I feel like I didn't know how to do nothing, right? And so I was in church, and my pastor taught a message, and he basically was just saying that everybody on earth was sent with a purpose. And when he said everybody, that really grasped my attention because I'm included in everybody, right? So I started praying and praying. And I'm like, God, if everybody was sent to earth with a purpose on an assignment, then what is mine? And I was really intentional about that prayer because I really, really wanted to know. And I heard right. I literally heard right. How we pretty much took off with me writing stories.
And from how long has it been since you started writing?
I started in 2013, so are we coming up on 9 years? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, we're coming up on 9 years. Yeah, it'll be 9 years in January.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue to my next question. And this is for both of you guys. What are some of the struggles that you've experienced first starting out to where you are now? Because
Money.
And here's why I asked that. Well,
Money.
Here's why I asked that. Because again, a lot of times for aspiring actors or directors or producers or whoever that wants to get into this business, they always see the finished product. They never really see the struggles that go into it. And then a lot of times when you have people that know you and see that you're doing your thing, which you guys are both doing, they turn around and say, oh, I can do that too. But again, they don't know the struggles that go into it. So just talk about some of the struggles that you guys experienced along the way to where you are now.
I would actually say for me in the very beginning, it's literally not having a clue what you're doing, right? Like, that you're called to do this, but it's just like, where do I begin? How do I start? How do I even make this thing happen, right? And so for me, it was literally trying my hardest. Like I was reaching out to people. I'm, trying to get some help, some assistance, some guidance. And I just couldn't get it. It was just like what people were doing a lot when you're trying to get into an industry, they'll even tell you, they just start off with the negative and they start, saying things about the negative things in the industry and the negative things as it relates to writing and things like that. And so it's just like, that's all I was really getting. And so I literally relied on, and I'm being honest, I relied on the Holy Spirit to really, really guide and direct me. And when I tell you, he directed me to Google, and I mean that like Google
University.
Google is, I tell everybody, Google is my business partner for real. Like you can find out anything on Google, right? How everybody say YouTube is Google for me. And so I was able to find out a lot of things just by Googling certain things. And also, some of the struggles when you're first beginning, you reach out to friends and family, I guess, that, can help you out or whatever. And so a lot of times you're dealing with people that it's just really there to support you, but don't really understand the industry and what it really takes to, to really make this thing happen. So in the very beginning, I believe that the struggle is just, all of us working as amateurs, and really just trying to figure this thing out. And so when you have certain expectations and it's not delivered the way that you expected it to be delivered, it's because you're working with people that just love you and just want to be there for you, but don't really understand what it takes to really do what they don't understand the assignment.
Yeah, correct. I understand the assignment.
Correct.
But love you with everything. Don't get me wrong. Like we've worked with some amazing actors and actresses that had never worked in the industry before. But this time in particular, we actually work with professional actors, and it is definitely a humongous difference. Just because, they understand and this is their industry, this is what they do. They've even taught me some things, and so it's so good to be able to continue to elevate. When you're doing work like this, you never arrived and you never have stopped learning, Correct. And so I've learned a lot working with, professional actors this time on.
Correct. What about you, Derrick? What are some of the struggles?
I think the struggles of really getting started was kind of just starting, understanding that you don't need to have everything, to start out. I think in the industry, whenever you start, let's say for instance, like even for yourself, like, when you get started your podcast, or, you think I need this mic and I need these type of headphones. I need this system.
I need this backdrop.
Yes. It's you got to take all of that out the way, because at the end of the day, you are a novice in the game, but you still just not understand, like, just don't let that continue to be the struggle. Because if it is, again, then the money will be a struggle for you, because you need money to buy those items. So I had to really get past all of that and just understand that, start where I was, start with what I had, because what I had was enough. So that was the real struggle, really getting started. We can say all day long there was money, but it really wasn't that much. I think once we figured out what we needed to do, then everything else kind of, took, I guess, fell into place.
And we definitely had great support. Like my husband, when I tell you, he is a number one supporter. Like he's definitely involved too. He's at work right now, but he'll go in them pockets, and say, when we need something, he will definitely go in them pockets. And also too, even to Derrick's point too, a lot of times I think that, we do start off with what we have or whatever, but what we have, we can still do it in excellence. Sometimes people just feel like, well, since I'm just getting started, then they just gonna have to accept this, or we just gonna put that out here like this. That's even with the DVDs in the very beginning. That was a struggle for me, because I really wanted the work on a DVD so that people can, see what we're doing, because it was stage play. So of course it couldn't get around like we have now on Amazon and things, but I wanted that professionalism. And so some of the advice that I would get was, well, people know you just starting off, so just put it out there and then they'll see your growth. And I'm like, no, you can still operate in excellence when you're first beginning, regardless of what it is that you have or what you don't have. You still want to operate in excellence and do those things, the right way, because you only have one time to make a first impression.
Correct. Now, both of you are people of faith that walk by faith. But was there a fear factor involved when you were first getting started?
Every day.
I was shaking in my boots January 13th, 2013 or 6, whatever it was. I was shaking in my boots literally and I actually panicked at the very first stage play, because a couple of my actors, they went out on the stage and they completely went blank. They forgot all of their lines and they did not think. Remember, I'm working with people that's just doing favor, right? This is not their industry. This is not what they do. So they went blank and I panicked, right? So I literally, I'm stopping the whole show. I shut the whole show down. I'm like, shut it down, turn the lights off, So that was definitely a struggle. And, just to see, but what I'm talking about? What was the question? What was the question?
What was your fear? What was
there a fear factor?
My fear, so that was like that was really a fear. Like that was one of my fears, and it happened. Like, what if these people get out here?
See how characters went blank? She went blank on the court. That's what happened. That's what happened.
No, it happens. Listen, it happens.
I was scared. I was so scared because, again, I've never done this before. I didn't have like somebody, on my team that was like, okay, this is how you do it. So I literally went out there just shaking my boots. I was standing behind stage, like looking at the people. And when I tell you the people showed up, they showed up. Like they were in the seats. And I'm like, all these people here. Oh my God, like, I don't know if they're gonna like this. It was very scary. It was extremely scary just stepping out there like that. You just jumped off the plane and just went out there. Yeah.
What about you, Derrick?
I'll be honest with you, because at the time that when we started, for her, again, she started with the stage plays, and again, I was behind the scenes at that time. But for me, when we first got into doing the filming and we did our first film, it was the fear for me was like the money that I'll be honest, because I know I kind of went all out. I think I left my job. I stepped out. I really stepped out on faith. I really say, hey, because we would have these conversations and talk all the time about how our gifts will make room for us. And so I decided at the time, I think at the time I was like independent, and we said, hey, we're going to do this. And I pulled money out of the 401k I had left, and we put money in. Her husband put money in to do the first film and to finish it and put it out. I mean, literally, we spent money to go to a film festival just to see how, what a film festival is and how things take place. And then from that point, we went into making our film. But the fear at the time was just how do we recoup that, and what do we do next?
And the first day on set.
Oh yeah.
Our very first
talk to
filming
me.
day
Talk to
on
me.
set for our very first movie.
I said I can't do this.
This man doubted. He doubted himself. Like he really doubted himself. He was really in the room as if like, I can't do this. I just can't do this, And we had to learn so much together because he really did. He just felt like, I guess it was overwhelming. Can you imagine like going in trying to film a whole movie and this is your first time doing that? Like he felt like, I just can't. I'm like, no, we have to. Like, we got this schedule made. We got these people, like, we got to do this. And so it's the enemy. A lot of times, like when when you're called to something and you step into it, the enemy will attack like crazy because beginning, he don't want us to get to the point of really trusting and having faith in God that we can move to the next level, that we can do this again and we will be able to succeed. And so it was definitely just that craziness, like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, so in that moment so many people stop, so many people quit, and it's like that's when you really supposed to push in and you keep going. And I'm so grateful that he did continue on, because if not, we wouldn't be at this point that we are now. On the first set we was bumping heads. I didn't understand, we on set getting into it in front of the characters. We like, no, we cannot do that again. We cannot do that, because me as a writer, I'm literally like, no, Derrick, I wrote this.
Yeah.
I want this in the film. And he's just like, well, Kyria, when we get to set, things may change. I'm like, they can't change. So it was like, I had to learn.
Remember this, the person who wanted to cut off the lights just because somebody know they lying. That, I'm telling you. And it was a learning process, because it's what happens, I know we were talking about fear, but what happens, I think the fear, one of the fears is like, she's thinking that someone would change her project, right? Or to change the message. And now I'm telling you, where we are now is that we like this, like we and even today, now we can talk about, when we talk about this third film, we can talk about scenes now that I want to cut, and she's like, I'm okay with cutting it. Like before, I couldn't get her to cut not one scene. I'm like, no, you gotta cut this. We can't do it. So yeah, so the fear was, like I say, just all of that, being overwhelmed with so much, but being able to really learn to work together and understand our roles. What I'm saying? Like I said, at the end of the day, she has to, I have to trust her as a writer, just like she trust me as the director. And now we pretty much, I'll be honest with you, we pretty much co-directing at this point now. Like that's where we are. She don't want to accept it yet, but I tell her all the time, I say, you kind of co-directing now, right? Especially on this last film. She kind of co-directing now. So, but yeah, fear, we just let fear paralyze us.
And my husband, actually, Trey, he keep us grounded too. He definitely keep us grounded.
He's the middle ground. He's the mediator at the end of the day.
No, listen,
I wish he could be, because you would really appreciate him, for real.
That's one of the things I respect about behind the scenes. See, I prefer in front of the camera, because I give you guys all the respect. The setup, pre-production, post-production, I cannot do it. I give you guys all the credit. I've actually tried to dabble in writing myself. That's not for me.
Yeah, you figure that out real quick, like definitely.
The amount of time and effort, I think it took me like 2 years just to write a 20-page script. Because the amount of time I gave up, I was like, no, this not gonna work. I don't know how you guys do it, but I give you guys all the credit. Just give me my lines, let me deliver them, and I go home. And then let me do something else. So I definitely want to give you guys your flowers for that, because again, me being a part of the industry, I know the struggles that go into making a project come off the ground, and for you guys to get to where you are now, a blessing. We're gonna come back to that word again. Amen. Amen. But let's talk about the gift of grace. What is this project about?
Oh, how do we talk about the gift of grace? It actually, the gift of grace it's a beautiful project. It is really a beautiful project, and is the title alone, is what it is. It's basically God's gift of grace that he extends to us as humans, no matter what the situation may be. So many of us count ourselves out because of life choices, things that we've done in our past. And, and we also allow people to keep us in our past, so like if we made certain choices, certain decisions, things that we struggle with that may put us in a bad category or a category where it's like we're not accepted. After we change our lives and move on and give our lives to Christ, then people try to and you change, people want to say, well, who she thinks she is or who you think he is, and how he gonna do this and how he gonna do that. Well, it's God's grace, and he was gracious to extend his love to me, as if he says once you ask for forgiveness and you come into his kingdom, he washes you as white as snow, right? So regardless of who you were in the past, regardless of what you were doing, when you surrender, it's all wiped away. People may hold that over your head, but God will never do that. And that is pretty much the message in the gift of grace. It's just extended grace to people, and you'll be able to see the phenomenal story behind the gift of grace. There's some twists and turns in there that people ain't ready for, but they'll enjoy them.
I think what you realize too is that the grace that God gives is the same grace that you can extend to other people.
Yes.
And sometimes we forget to give people grace.
Yes.
So like when just I'll use us for example. Like I said, when we had issues and we bumped heads or whatever, it's because of I can extend grace that we can forgive and kind of move on to the next thing. But some people won't extend grace, and that will block them from everything else that they had in line for themselves. So the movie teaches not only God's grace, but the grace that we also extend to other people.
Yes.
So that way that we can move forward and heal. Because in this film, you're gonna see people deal with regret. You're gonna see people deal with hurt and from the past. So but I think at the end, when you see the film, it's just you're gonna understand what the gift of grace is.
And you'll never look at anybody in a bad light when you see this film, because you'll see that we all have struggles, we all have problems, and we all have a past, and
Facts.
so you won't look at nobody and think you're better than them anymore. Nobody should be doing it anyway. Stop doing it.
What was the inspiration behind it? Where did the thoughts come from for this project when you decided to write it?
So actually, everything that I write, I give honor to God, of course, but my pastor, Raymond Ori of Orca Safety in St. Charles, Missouri, here in my city, I was so free from the messages that he taught. And so, of course, a lot of times in the body of Christ, I believe that a lot of us walk around in bondage, and the message, the word says that the truth shall set us free, right? And so I sat under some truth, right? Some things that have set me free. And I just really wanted to just share with the world, like the feeling that I had when I was set free from all these emotions and all these thoughts and what people held over my head and, things like that or whatever. It was just like, I want the world to experience this. Like, I want the viewers to really, really have a genuine experience with God, because he's so real and he can so change our situations and everything. So a lot of my writings is inspired by the teachings that I received. And so basically it's real life teachings. He used to have a podcast called Real, Raw, and Relevant. My pastor did. And so I'm telling you, it's real, raw, and relevant how he teach. And it's so good, because a lot of times when we go to church, all we know how to do is just go and we clap our hands and we shout and we praise. But then when we leave church, we don't know how to live outside the church, still for him, and so I wanted to really write real life messages, not just Bible stories and I'm not knocking Bible stories, but what I'm saying, I wanted to really write real life in movies and just, elevating the word of God. So all the inspiration that I write about is just the teachings from
pretty much the uncompromising word of God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in today's church, in today's, where we are spiritually, a lot of people, they compromise.
Yeah.
They compromise in order to satisfy a certain group, so they don't offend them, and that's not the way it is. It's really, we really talk about really sharing the uncompromising word of God, and just truth.
I'm glad you brought that up. Having not to compromise your writing skills. How difficult is that in today's day and age where everybody is so sensitive about everything? Like, how difficult is it to write something without offending anyone or potentially being canceled by a particular group, or them protesting your project because you wrote something, or you may have had an actor say something that they took offense to.
Because the truth hurts. But that's just
It does. It does.
The truth hurts.
But still, how difficult is it to direct or to write something?
So I would honestly say that, and I'm like I told you before this, we a faith-based company, and I'm definitely giving God His glory, but this connection that we have is totally different. Why? We own our own work. We produce our own stuff. We really don't have somebody telling us what we can and can't do, right? And we also know our audience. Okay. So a lot of times when people are doing something, they're trying to appease and please so many different people when you have a target audience, right? So when you ask a person, what is your target audience? And they say everybody, that means nobody, right? You can't have a target audience for everybody. Everybody's not going to accept your message. Everybody's not going to like what you do. And even in your target audience, everybody won't like what you know. Your audience, know what they're wanting, and you stick with that, so that's what I do. I stick with what I know, what my target audience is, who they are, and who I'm called to. I know who I'm called to, and that's the lane that I stay in. I stay in my lane. That's what I would say. Okay. I stay in my lane.
Yeah, and I think even in one of the things, when we were talking earlier before we really got started, we use the term industry. I think what we have to do is take ourselves out of that, because when you say industry, what industry means to me is that here are the rules,
right?
And we have to get outside of that box, because at the end of the day, there's somebody waiting for you to show up, and they don't care what industry you're in.
Yeah,
they want, like, whatever the message is, there's somebody still waiting for you to show up that you can speak to, and that's basically what I'm saying. That's the audience that we speak to. I understand that what we do, it's not for everybody, but it's for those who want to have an ear to hear
and a heart to receive.
That's it.
Right.
But know your target audience.
Yeah. So I'm not. So I just want to know. Just say this. So we're not out against anybody or whatever. We just speak whatever God told us. Whatever God told her to write, I just look to direct and make sure that that's just revealed on screen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we're in a sad time, man. Where you can't really disagree. And that's what I think is sometimes come down to disagreement, but you can't really disagree with anyone nowadays without people taking offense to it. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And you know what? I will honestly say, and not saying this in a mean way or anything like that or whatever, but I'm glad I'm not the type of person that's easily offended, but I feel like that when you're just saying truth, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can come to me and you can disagree with me. You can tell me I'm wrong and all these things, whatever. That's your opinion versus mine, Correct. So it's like, I'm not mad at you for your opinion, so, but so many people get mad at you for yours, Correct. So it's like, hey, these are opinions we're talking about here, right? Why is we getting angry? Why, so it's just, I know what you mean. Like, it's so hard these days because everybody want to make it such a big deal when you disagree with what so many people think,
Exactly.
Go back and say, oh, you want to argue.
You talking about
no, not really. That's what I mean.
Of course, you guys have had to. Do you guys sit in on the audition, or do you hire someone to do it for you?
Yeah, we're all in on the auditions.
Okay. So with that being said, from an actor standpoint, sometimes we make some unique choices to try to secure the role that may not always land. The writer has one vision for a line, the director has another vision, and when we as an actor receives it, we have another vision, and sometimes we come in. So with that being said, what's the craziest or funniest thing you've seen someone do in the audition room to try to book a job?
I think she probably might know more on that end than I do.
Okay.
What you got, Kyrie? What have you seen?
Craziest
or funniest, whichever one.
I would say craziest.
Okay, let's go with craziest.
So we had auditions, and honestly, and me, I do take myself out of auditions. I do sit in, but I take myself out of them, just for reasons for people feel like I've had my brothers audition, sisters, and they sometimes they don't get the roles, and so even close family members. But one of the things that happened was we had a young lady that came into the audition, and she, you know, she did her thing or whatever, and you know, then she left out, and then we hear all this commotion, you know, outside the door while we were in another audition. And basically the lady went out, left the audition, and she was clowning like with the people that were working like the front area, basically saying she feel like that she want another audition, she don't feel like that she gave her all in there, she want another chance. So they were basically trying to explain to her that we have, you know, we have time slots, you know, for all these people that are auditioning. And so, you know, unfortunately we couldn't, you know, come back in and do that or whatever. And literally it was a whole commotion. Like she was cursing, she was yelling at them. It really got crazy, you know. But that was like the craziest thing ever. No.
Oh, okay.
Norfolk was.
Oh, okay.
We were out and they know exactly what I'm talking about. But no, it was, yeah, she showed her behind. Yeah, she did.
Okay. Oh boy.
But you know what? One thing. Where I think keep freezing.
I think you landed in the matrix for a minute. Hold on.
I did. I'm back.
It was lagging for a minute.
Was it mine or yours?
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm back.
I don't know. All right.
So yeah, I was saying that some of the things, and I don't know if this was, you know, a question of yours or not or whatever, but one thing I would say to actors, you know, that come in, you know, to an audition, I know sometimes when they come in, you know, they may be really, really good, right? But as the writer, we do want to see you, you know, really, really deliver the role. We want you to make it real. But one thing that immediately is a turnoff for me, when actors come in into an audition is you're saying something totally different from what your audition scripts say, right? You want to show that, you know, you're awesome. You want to show you're amazing. But my thing is, at least say the lines. You know what I'm saying? Like, say the lines, or they'll try to overdo it. You know, they'll overdo it. So instead of sticking to the lines, they're trying to ad lib when you don't even know the story yet, you know?
Right.
So it's just more, and I tell my actors a lot, you know, don't ad lib until you know the lines. Because a lot of times you use ad libbing in place of not knowing your lines. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, no, I don't want to hear ad libs until I know you know the story.
Correct. I've seen it. I had to learn that the hard way. I think the very first audition I went on, I bombed. I think my nerves got the best of me, honestly. I went in there and as soon as he said, "You ready?" Yeah. Action. Froze. Deer in headlights. I was like, and like you said, I started trying to make stuff up and I'm like, nah, this isn't working well. Safe to say, I know I didn't get that job. So, but then there's been times where I felt like I bombed that one too, and I got a call back and I booked the job. So you never know, but I do agree with you. One of the most important things is understanding and learning the sides, because if you don't know the lines, then Jesus, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that was one of the questions. And if you can, and Derrick as well, if you guys can just expound on any advice that you would give actors.
I'll say this. One of the things what I've liked about this last filming of The Gift of Grace is that the cast, a couple things. Things that go into it is like knowing your lines, and there's a certain chemistry that so I would say this, when if you're not cast for something, I would say to an actor that don't think it's because you weren't good. Sometimes it's about like seeing how that person chemistry is with another person. And now don't get me wrong, I think we've learned, even for us, I think we learned that, you know, of course, when we first started out, I want to, you know, commend a lot of people who volunteered to work with us, because we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't have those people that came in, they volunteered. They helped push the vision that we had going forward. But then as we grow as a company, we understand that we have to, you know, elevate and really work with people who are in this industry for what it is and being an actor. So as an actor, I would say just don't get offended if you're not picked for a role. It's not because you're not good. It's because maybe there was just a certain chemistry that they're looking for. We've gone into you know, certain scenes and certain looks that we thought we had for a person, and because somebody came right out and there's just something about them that they did when they delivered on that line, I was blown away. And so
took our vision all the way.
Yeah. So I'm just saying we want this. We need A, B. Then we come in, we got B, A, because that's just the way it landed for that person. So I'm just saying, I think for actors, just just do what you, like I said, you never know what's good or what's not, because the vision of the director or the vision of the writers or the creators, they're seeing certain things. So I think there's a lot of people that came through, they were excellent, but it just wasn't what we were looking for this particular fit. And when we saw this person, and after we've seen this person, we're like, oh, those people go good together. So chemistry is a big deal. So just don't let it be. Just don't think it's just your acting. It's a chemistry that goes into it as well. So
yeah, and sometimes it's more. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say,
sometimes it's more. It's just not enough roles for all those people. That's it's just that. But I would honestly say, for my advice to give to actors would honestly be, understand the assignment. You have to understand it, because if you want to be in this industry as an actor, actress, you gotta understand that it is a hurry up and wait process, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
Hurry up and wait process. So if you're on set and you're getting bothered because a scene is taking too long, or you feel like I want them to hurry up with this scene, and you might not be ready for the industry of acting, because it sometimes you will be at set from 6 a.m. You can be all the way there to midnight, but you have to know that going in. You have to understand that, and then also making sure that you're not bringing negative energy on set. Okay. Sometimes, you may have a bad day, or, you're dealing with something in particular, and we are not, we definitely understand that you are, people, you deal with things, but when you come to set, it's like, you're not even that person anymore. You're not you anymore when you come to set. You're literally, you're now this completely different character, and we need that person. We need that to be delivered versus what you're dealing with and the emotions that you have from something that you're carrying as your real self, right? So it's so important to understand that when I come, I'm here to work, period. That's it, pretty much. And just knowing them lines. The more you know your lines, the more you can get into character.
Yep.
If you know the lines, we won't have to spend so much time on, now you can't really get loose because you're trying to remember your lines versus just really becoming that character, because there's a time that you spend on your dialogue, and then there's a time that you spend on developing that character. So there's two parts to becoming a great actor. You got to know the lines, but then you also have to become that character. So that is definitely my advice.
Yeah.
So let me go back to something Derrick said. Oftentimes I've heard directors say sometimes we don't know what we're looking for. How often does that happen? Like when you're writing out the character breakdown and you're having the auditions, do you always know what you're looking for, or is it sometimes people walk in and bam, that's it?
I could tell you flat out. I think it's safe to say I know what I'm looking for. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm looking for. But I will say, even times when I knew what I was looking for, somebody came and totally flipped the script on me because they were that good. Or, they just brought something that I just didn't see. And I think that's another thing too. I mean, I can go into so many different things, but one of the things I know when it comes to actors, what I love so much about acting, I want you to be whoever you are. I don't even want you, when I say I want you to follow, I just need you to know your lines, but I really want you to come in and just give me whatever it is that you thought that character was supposed to be. And I won't, and don't stop till I say cut, because sometimes I see things and it's just going. And I know it may be off script, but sometimes I really like that. I just want people to be creative, but just understand the character. Because sometimes, some people can be creative, but then now you're trying to take it to something else. Like, that's not what they're supposed to do. The reason why they're this way is because it has to take it to another point. But if you change it, if you try to change the dialogue, then that takes away from the story. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta kind of know your lane.
The reason I ask is because I remember I took a workshop with a casting director, and she told us a story about, we were talking about making choices, and if you're going to make a choice, be convicted in that choice. So if memory serves me correct, she said the character was for a hardcore thug type person, but then an actor came in and flipped it, and he was very flamboyant with it, and the directors loved it. So I'm hearing this, I'm like, well, that's not hardcore. But I guess there was something that the actor did that made it that the director look at it and say, okay, I like what he did. Let's go with that instead.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's my point. That's my point. Like I can say that I know what I want, but when somebody comes in and they read something, it's like, I didn't see it like that, but now I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, so that can totally happen. And that's why I say this. That's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say there's no. And we talk about it all the time. We could tell you about like we had a certain look for somebody. We had this person need to be like this, it's just a certain thing. But I mean, and then someone comes in, and he's like, I didn't see that at first, but now,
you got this.
You got that,
right.
yeah. So you probably said, I thought I was supposed to be the thug dude. Right. And that's what I mean. Like you have to. That's why I say you don't be afraid to go outside the box. Because be honest with you, a lot of people, to be real with you, more than not, they like really creativity versus you coming in and doing what they actually want you to do. And I take that back to a lot of things that
I like them do what they want to do.
You said what? What you say?
I like them do what they supposed to do.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, she say that now, but I'm telling you, then it's sometimes like I didn't know, I didn't see that. But
right. I mean, that's true.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is that back to what your what did you say? That director said that one time.
Don't be afraid to make a choice and have conviction.
Be convicted in it. That's it. That's just don't be afraid to be convicted in it. That's all.
I mean, you know what? And the more I did it, the more I understood where the cat. Because at first I didn't understand. That was early in my career, and then one of the things I'm not gonna lie. One of the things as an actor that whenever I go to an audition, I kind of try to eavesdrop to see what the other actors are doing if I'm able to hear them. So I listen.
Everybody do that.
Whatever I can do to book the job. So I try to eavesdrop to hear what they're doing and get a feel for the room from the outside. So that way I don't go in and do the same thing. Because one thing I've understood is that as the casting director, or if the director's in the room, when the actors come in and it's redundancy, you just keep seeing the same thing over and over. You're looking for someone to come in and liven up the room, so to speak. Bring something that you haven't seen. Wake us up.
Yes, wake us up.
Yeah.
Certain things are an anomaly, though. I mean, what I'm saying, like certain things, like I said, like again, who would have thought that? Again, it goes back to chemistry, because I'm telling you, that person may have had a certain chemistry that came in. It's like I didn't know what they were, but I like the way he did that or she did that. So that's why I say you can't just go by the script itself. It's sometimes just a chemistry. So yeah, they probably took it off script, or changed it. Like I say, it was supposed to be a hardcore person. But because of the way that chemistry was with that person and changing it, being more flamboyant, whatever that was, it's like then that person, like sometimes the director is still maybe creating something, and all of a sudden it gave them another idea. Like I didn't know I could push it, and then then they want to explore on that, and that's probably like I'm just saying that's some of the things that could take place.
Right, understood. So where can people see?
We've had it in auditions that get to great. So people, certain people, we had a certain look for a certain person, and somebody coming in like, I'm outdone. That's you. You got it.
I'm still shocked about, some of the people, the main characters and stuff that was chosen, because I'm like, oh my God, like I would have never imagined that, you know what I'm saying? Like we had this ideal person in our head, and so it was like totally different from my idea. Totally different. But it's just like, nah, but you that person though. Like you gonna be this person. It was that good.
Yeah,
they were that good.
The characters in this film, like I just, I'll take it back to the characters, but they really just, that's why I say when you see the film, you gotta see it. Like I'm just outdone. I'm just saying we're missing out on a lot of good talent of people just because they're not,
famous.
Not because they're not famous, but you got a lot of local people that can bring you exactly what
we just got to put in the work, man. I think that's one thing that we have to realize as actors. And again, I'm speaking from experience. I've gone in on some major auditions where I left feeling like, I should be getting a call back, and I didn't. But that doesn't stop me, because at the end of the day, like you guys just alluded to, you don't know what is going on behind the scenes, why certain decisions were made. And you can't let that stop you, because at the end of the day, if you quit, you're not going to obtain anything from quitting.
Yeah.
You just got to keep pushing through. Quit.
So exactly. I don't care how many failures the more failures you have, the more attempts you're going to get somebody that's going to is the one that's going to land. So
exactly.
But if you stop shooting, you definitely, if you're missing the target and you stop shooting, well, you're never going to hit the target if you stop shooting.
You're never going to make it.
Yeah.
You miss all the shots you never take.
We used to live by this motto: if you're gonna tell me no, tell me fast.
Yeah, tell me no fast.
Yeah,
So
just get it out the way. Get it out the way.
You're gonna tell me no fast so I can go to the next one, so I can get to the next
Right.
yes.
Exactly. So speaking of seeing the project, where can people see the project? Where can they watch it?
So currently, we have 3 films out. We're just gonna speak to the first 2, which is the Wake Up Call and A New Husband for Christmas. They're available on Amazon Prime and as well as Tubi TV. So you can find it on Tubi. Tubi is a free app, so you don't have to have a subscription, a paid subscription. So if money's an issue and you want to pay for a subscription, go download Tubi TV. All our films there. But if you already have Amazon Prime, go to Amazon, and our films are available on Amazon as well.
And The Gift of Grace will be available on Amazon sometime in November. We don't have the exact date just yet. But as soon as we get the date, it'll be on there. So make sure, people that are following our social media pages, make sure that they follow our pages so that they will know when we drop, when we release new projects and things like that.
And the next premiere is in Atlanta, I believe. I saw on your
November 11th. The next premiere is in Atlanta, and you can still buy your tickets. And I think there is about less than 60 spots left.
November 11th. At which theater?
That's going to be at the Movie Tavern in Tucker, Georgia.
Tucker, Georgia. I've never heard of that place.
Yeah, Tucker is it's the outskirt of Atlanta. Yeah, it's about 10 minutes outside of the city of Atlanta.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try to put that in my calendar. I'm actually off that day, so
don't try. Just do it.
Don't try. That's true. This is true.
We would love to have you there.
I'm gonna reach out to my cousin and ask. Listen, guys, I want to thank you for your time, man. Again, best of luck to the project. I know how difficult this can be to get a project off the ground. So I'm always big about giving people their roses while they can smell them. And you guys are definitely doing your thing. I can't wait to actually attend the premiere and see it on Amazon.
And I was gonna say this just so you can follow us on social media handles at KMW Productions, as well as Mullen Group Productions. And to find out more about The Gift of Grace, just follow the hashtag The Gift of Grace Film, and you'll see all of the behind the scenes, all the current activity that's going on with that particular hashtag. So yeah, we're excited. I can tell that really God is really moving and through what we're doing, and we're kind of blessed to even be, like I say, to be on this podcast with you, to also, because at the end of the day, we want to reach people. And so whether just one person hears the message that we have in our films, then we're doing our job. So this is not about us. It's definitely about what God has inspired in us to do.
One last question. What is the vision for the project?
Which one, for The Gift of Grace or just
yes, for this one?
The vision, I guess our vision actually for The Gift of Grace is just honestly for, the viewers to see it. I mean, we want to get it out there, to where it's, is in everybody's home. They're watching it on their TVs. They're sharing it with other people, just helping us to get the word out there, about this production company that, is starting off and coming off the ground.
She drew a blank. Let me help you out real quick. Because the vision, I'm gonna be honest with you, the vision that she really wants from all of this really is that she wants people to walk away with hope. So at the end of the day, we want everyone.
I understand the question.
She didn't understand that, Simon. But no, but seriously, at the end of the day, like literally, even from the people that was in this that came out yesterday, I'm just gonna share a quick testimony that I heard from one of the people that watched it. Just like what I love the most when I could see somebody come out and they say, "Hey, when I saw this film, I saw myself." She said, "I literally thought this woman wrote this movie and she was in my house," because she said she was married for 18 years and she said her and her spouse went through something similar to what she saw in the film. And when people can see that and walk away with certain nuggets that was illustrated in the film, and that's why I think a lot of people talked about that. They say they love the illustrations that were done inside the film, and that one, especially making this particular one, because this is what that project was about. That people could walk away with just different nuggets and just say, I can take that and feel connected. Because the last thing when we started making faith-based films, we didn't want anything to be cheesy. We didn't want anything to be narcissistic. We wanted you to really see a genuine connection that you can see, that watch our films and say, I can resonate with that. And it's real to me. It doesn't seem as fluffed and rainbows and unicorns. Like they really see like, oh, this is like, it's a real thing. This is real life. And that's what we want people to walk away to. You can see our film and see real life situations, but knowing that it's a message inspired by God. And hopefully that will draw people more to Christ. So
you see this, you see what, yes, you see why we connect. That's what I'm talking about. That's the vision.
Well, I asked that question because a lot of times I have this conversation at work a lot with people. And a lot of times people get into the industry in hopes of winning an Oscar or an Emmy or a Tony. And I think they base their success on awards that they try to obtain. And sometimes when they don't obtain it, they feel like I wasn't successful. Do you guys feel that way, or is it just to get the word out there? Like, what is success to you?
Let me tell you this, and you can catch me when I, if I miss anything, Kyria. But I can tell you when we first started, it was never about money. I mean, it took money for us to make it, but I could tell you it was never about money. Now, don't get me wrong. We need money.
Want the money, no, of course.
Yes, we do.
But I've always said to her, and I'll be honest, I said, Kyria, just generic question. I said, if you could get paid $40,000 a year to do this, would you still do it? And she said, absolutely. So my point in saying that, because, on average, in our careers, from money that we made in the insurance industry, that's, just kind of what we needed to sustain to maintain our households. But the biggest thing is that we can continue to get that message out there and keep producing films. Absolutely. I don't think we've ever been inspired by an Emmy or Oscar. I mean, I hear people say that, oh, you guys know how people talk. It's like, oh, you guys get an Oscar, and like,
I didn't even know what an Oscar was, and I'm learning so much.
Right.
So that just lets you know that was never the.
It wasn't about that. Right.
But no, seriously, it's never been about that. Really, it's just really been about, like, again, attaching my card to somebody who had a purpose and wanted to get a word out there and just spread the love of Jesus Christ and
spread the gospel through film.
Yeah, that's it. Spreading the gospel through film. So
I love it, man. I can't wait to see the project.
So anybody out there, if you listen, you can donate to us. Just go to our page. We are still accepting donations to keep making our films happen, and we appreciate it. Snapchat me.
Absolutely. Derrick, guys, I thank you so much for your time again. I can't wait to see the project. Hopefully, maybe sometime in the near future we can all work together.
Hey, I don't know if you caught me, when we was talking, he's an actor too.
Oh, I've been paying attention. Yeah, I've been listening.
Send your resume over to info at casting. What you want? Casting at KMW Productions.
And that's for everybody else listening.
Also, he's an actor.
Yeah.
So our next film we will be shooting in Atlanta. So just so you know, we'll say that we're not going to get too much into it yet, but we're already writing. It's already in the works on the pre-production.
For
the fourth film.
Now, with that being said, I know I said last question like 2 questions ago.
Now you're starting to sound like a preacher. Because preachers, this is my last closing.
Right.
I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna close. Now go ahead.
For actors, do you guys accept unsolicited resumes and reels, or do you prefer them to go through an agency?
Or agency?
What's that? No.
Send it. Yeah,
we unsolicited. It's fine.
Okay. What's the email address again for those that want to submit?
What's the email address, Kyria?
It is casting@kmwproductions.org. Casting@kmwproductions.org.
There it is. All right. Last question for real. That was it. I'm done. Guys, once again, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see the project. And guys, remember to follow, like, subscribe. And Derrick, is it Kyria? Did I say that right?
Yep.
I'll talk to you guys soon. All right.
Thank you so much for your time. We really enjoyed this show.
All right, guys. It's the Lions Den. Thank you.
All right.